Hello, welcome to Chatting with Chitness. I'm Dr. Salil Chitness. I'm a pediatric emergency medicine physician, and we're going to be talking about pediatric medical education. We got a very exciting video, so let's get chatting. Hello, welcome back to Chatting with Chitness. Today we're going to be talking about antimicrobials, which are basically medications that kill organisms that are trying to kill you. And there's different kinds of antimicrobials, different ways to take them. There's, topical creams, ointments. There's drops for your eyes, drops for your ears. You can take medicine by mouth and pills and liquid. And then, of course, there's antibiotics that you can take through the IV, intravenous. So we're going to talk about all the organisms that try to kill you and make you sick and make your kids sick, and then what we can do to kill them before they kill us. So the first organism we're going to talk about, and probably the most common, is viruses. Viruses are what cause the common cold, your flu, chicken pox, all those rashes that kids get. So those are viruses. The good and bad thing about viruses is that there's really no medication for them. Your body kind of fights it themselves. It's just supportive care. There are a few antivirals out there. There's some for chickenpox. There's some for the flu, but they tend to have a lot of side effects, and usually your body can take care of it. So the next organism we're going to talk about is bacteria, and this is where the term antibiotics comes from. And bacteria are the things that give you your cellulitis, which is like that infection on your skin. You get abscesses, like pustules, all that nasty stuff. Strep throat is a bacteria. Usually pneumonias are bacteria. So these require medication or you're not going to get better. And that's what antibiotics do. And that's one of the greatest discoveries we had in medicine is penicillin, which is a type of antibiotic. And the reason why we are so strict about antibiotics is that there's a lot of resistance now. Because if you give an antibiotic for an illness that doesn't need it, then you kind of just cause more resistance. So the really main ways to prevent resistance is if you are given antibiotics or your kid's given antibiotics, please finish the whole course. If you stop taking the antibiotic early, that leads to resistance. And then also, don't start antibiotics if it's not a bacterial infection, because that also adds to resistance. All right, so the next organism is going to be fungal, which is like mold and yeast. And these kinds of infections are your ringworm. Kids get that a lot, usually from stray animals. Diaper rash is another kind of fungal infection. Also, dandruff is actually a fungal infection. That's why the dandruff shampoos actually are just the antifungal medication. The key with antifungals is when you give them to your kid, usually it's for a very long time. It's really hard to kill a fungus, so it does take a lot of time. And also, it takes a lot of time for it to look better. So I usually tell parents when their kid has ringworm, the skin's going to take a long time to look normal. Even though the infection is dead, it just takes a while. And the last organism is probably the least common that your kid will get, and that is a parasite. Probably the most common parasite that we have is pinworms, which are the little worms that crawl out of your kid's butt at night and makes their butt itchy. So if your kid is scratching their butt a lot, you might have to check them for pinworms. And another common parasite, which is not that common in America, but common in other parts of the country, is malaria. So we do have antiparasitic medication, and it works really well. It's actually one of the best working medications we have. So if you are concerned that your kid has a parasite, you should definitely get them tested for it, and then they can be on medication. So I hope this helps you guys understand a little bit more about all the antimicrobials that we use to treat infection. I think the key is you really have to know what your kid has before starting medication, because if you start the wrong medication, it just leads to side effects and resistance. So you always want to know what your kid has and then pick the best medication for that thing. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave any comments so we can chat about it next time on Chatting with Chitness.